Yes, how can I help you?
Where's your purse?
My purse? What do you need? Hello, I've received a couple of questions throughout this week's stories on Instagram, and I decided to make a video responding all of your stories. One of the questions I wanted to ask my audience was ask me anything, but I wanted them to know that I was interested in what they had to ask me. So I received a couple of questions, and I don't remember the names of everybody that was asking me questions, but some of them were first, where are you from? And I am originally from Texas. I grew up in Texas, but I was born in Mexico. My dad is Texas born citizen. I mean, we say we're like Texan citizens, but yes, he's an American citizen of Mexican descent, and my mom is a full-grown Mexican citizen. So they met when my mom moved to the border area between Mexico and Texas, and we grew up in Texas. So I was born in Mexico, but for the most part of my life I lived in Texas. And when I turned 21, I decided to move to Kentucky. I think it was 20 to 21 years of age. I decided to move to Kentucky. I wanted to fulfill several personal goals, and that is why I came here. What is my name? The other question was, what is your name? My name is Elie Thompson, Mendoza Thompson. Mendoza is my maiden name, and I kept it when I got married because it was just less paperwork to deal with, and that way I could also keep my dual citizenship. What was the other question? The other question was what made you start your business? Well, I worked as a freelance and a full-time makeup consultant for a big company called, I mean, I guess I can mention it. It's not like they're paying me to say it, but it is what I was, and I'm pretty sure somebody has seen videos that was either worked with me or has seen me at the counters. I worked for a couple of makeup companies when I was single. I worked for Estee Lauder, for Chanel, for Clinique, and I would always assist other counters, but really full-time I did Chanel, Estee Lauder, and Clinique. I can't think of, I feel like I'm missing one, but no, really it was those three. Really, I spent more time with Estee Lauder. I did that for a couple of years, and I was a makeup artist, I was a consultant, and I was also a manager for several counters in different stores. And after that, I decided to go back to college, which goes into the second question. I was asked by somebody else, how long have you been doing this? So I have been a Etsy owner for over a year, selling illustrations, watercolor, digital illustrations that I hand make, and then I turn them into stationery products like stickers, notebooks, button pins, pens, totes. I've done shirts as well, and I've illustrated and digitally designed logos for different companies. So reverse back a couple of years from there, I went back to school and I completed a bachelor's degree in education. So I taught in a school as an English online teacher. I realized on my last video I was not very explained in length what it was to be an English teacher, or what happened with that job. I taught for several schools online, and it just after pandemic started, oh man. So after the pandemic hit the States, before that it hit, of course, it started in China, and some of the schools were delaying their payments for teachers. One of the schools was mine, and they were kind of like offering us to continue working with the delay of the payments, which was something I really couldn't do. And at that point I realized I could jump into the bandwagon of making something that was a necessity: face masks. So I decided to make face masks. My husband and my sister-in-law that is living with us at the moment helped me with that, and that helped us, really push the business a little bit further. So I talked to my husband, and I really thought a lot about it, and I decided, hey, why can't I just go full-time on Etsy? I am actually making more per hour in the time invested in Etsy than I would be making teaching online. So here we are to the month of August, and Thursday, where I am solely dependent on my Etsy sales. Can you do it? I think you can, but I would never sell the idea that this is an easy job, that this is something that anybody can do, and anybody can just quit your job, quit your daytime job, and be a full-time Etsy seller. Because quite honestly, I don't think everybody is made for that. I also don't think that you should jump into a business without having some extra savings. So we had a couple of extra dollars saved. Really, when the pandemic hit, since we had a little bit of money coming in from that stimulus check, it helped us have enough cushion. I did not follow the common rule that you have to save 3 months in advance before you quit your job and you start a new business. Why? I didn't do that because it was just not feasible for me. I had to quit one or the other. I had to decide, are you going to continue teaching online, which, by the way, you have to wake up. I live in the US. Kentucky time is New York Eastern Standard Time. I had to teach children in China that were 12 hours apart from me. So when I was doing that, I had to wake up at 5 a.m., start teaching at 6 a.m., and end my day around 10 a.m. Not counting the time that you have to grade the class per se, which is submitting a detailed memo of everything that happened during that day in the class. So I decided to quit that job because they also reduced the pay for teachers. At the beginning, it was a very high-paying job, which didn't matter if I was working 15 to 20 hours a week. It would cover all of our expenses, or the expenses that I had to cover for our household. So that was one of the reasons why I quit my job. Also, when I did that, I was making masks, which were a high need in Etsy. I don't think that Etsy has ever had a need to sell a product that Target, Walmart, and other stores do not provide. So they were out in retail stores, and handmade, custom made shops could provide that. Now, come August of 2020, everybody is selling them. They're $4 a piece and they're beautiful. So it's not feasible for a one man shop to mass produce as many masks and sell them at $4. You just won't make any profit out of it. And yes, you want to help the public, but bottom line is you need to make profit to pay the bills. So another question I had was, I can't remember the person that asked me, but another question was, what has motivated you to start this business? Like, I think what they wanted to say was, what motivated you to start selling on Etsy? Well, what motivated me was, let's go back to the time where I was teaching online. So I got pregnant and I had to decide whether or not I was going to have a full-time job, a part-time job, or how we were going to adapt to the needs of a new baby. And we decided to try to work from home. So my husband was teaching English online. He's also a CNA, so he was working from home and working at a nursing home, which he's done for a long time. So English, teaching English online was an easy job because I did not have to travel. I would just wake up in the morning when I was pregnant and I would teach a class. If I needed to go to sleep, I would go to sleep a little bit longer. And I also didn't have to worry about having coworkers. I have had very good coworkers, I would say, during the times I've been employed for cosmetic companies and teaching at schools, but it was just less stress to deal with, because when you work next to somebody at a counter or when you work with customers, you develop the ability to give from yourself to that person as well, whether it's your interest in conversations you have with them, or if they're having a bad day, you still have to manage a way to be able to I can't think of the word. 2020 of August, was it a good choice? I think it was. I really do think it was. One of the things I'm struggling with right now is having enough money to invest on new products. I'm super excited and I always have so many ideas of so many things to make and draw, but I don't always have the funds to have a manufacturer make them for me. So a lot of illustrators out there can illustrate something and then they can send it off to a manufacturer to make washi tape, to make notebooks, to make mass producer stickers. I don't have that yet, and I just wish I had maybe a second job to pull off from extra funds to invest. My next step is probably using one of the credit cards that we have to do that, but I do still struggle with that. So should you just quit your job and open an Etsy shop and sell your handcrafted things? I would consider keeping a side job. Now my husband is somebody that financially supports us, so we are okay for now, surviving like everybody in the pandemic, but it has been a little bit difficult. Another question I had was, what made you start illustrating or drawing? I've been painting and drawing since I can remember. I've always liked art itself and crafting things. My mom is a seamstress and she owned a tailor shop for a while, and she also worked for tailors for years and years. So she's worked for high-end, high couture bridal homes, where she was able to learn a lot in making crafted dresses or brides and bridesmaids dresses. In fact, she made my my wedding dress. And I learned with her how to work with fabric, how to work with threads, how to, you know, use a, if you can see that up there, a sewing machine. And I'm grateful for that because I was always able to work with my hands when I was a kid. I also took a couple of college courses in art, and I enjoyed them so much back in my early 20s when I was in Texas. And I used to paint large, and not murals, but large canvas paintings just for fun. And when I was pregnant, I went through a really rough time with hormonal changes, postpartum depression after the baby was here. It was a very abrupt change, and I honestly was not ready for it, although I do not regret having my baby. I went through a lot of pain, and having the time to draw and use watercolor and paint beautiful things for myself. At that point, it was just for me. I was able to really have a very therapeutic moment, and I would always look at videos of you know, how to make this better, how to do this better. And then I came across a woman, I think her channel was a Lemonade Shop. This woman has a beautiful calligraphy, and she said in one of her videos that she started doing this when she was I think she had her third child, and she was also going through some sort of postpartum blues, and she was taking care of her kids, and the kids started to draw with crayons and Crayolas, and she decided to color with them. And then she found like a new passion, that she felt so much relief and of tension as she was drawing. And this was only Crayola markers. So the reason why I'm also sharing this part is because I want you to know that drawing using watercolor medium, gouache, acrylic paint, all of that has been extremely therapeutic for me. And that's why I continue doing it, because when I go to work and I come in this room, I'm able to draw and disconnect from bills we have to pay, from confrontations I've had through the day, from not being able to, you know, have Zoe listen to me because sometimes she's very stubborn, and as any 2-year-old struggles with discipline and rules. So when I come here, everything goes out the door, and I just focus on my art, and I focus on the orders, and it's extremely therapeutic. There's been many times when I've wanted to give up because I've learned now that some of my prices are probably too low for me to keep up the shop. So if you're listening and you've bought certain items from me, I'm sorry, but some of the items might have to be $1 or $2 more, because that's another thing that has been very challenging, being able to fulfill supply and demand, and being able to make profit to purchase more supplies and to also pay the bills and support myself and my family. So that's just one of the reasons why I've decided to probably increase my prices. I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I feel so bad saying it. I feel so bad thinking that my prices are gonna be higher. Sometimes they just have to be. I mean, it's just like anything else. One of the items that I sell, I had a couple of bestsellers where like Etsy labels them as bestsellers, but one of the items that I have, the supply that I used to buy to make that was at least $1, $1.50 less per item, and it's increased now to $1, $1.50. So I'm out of that because I'm purchasing the material to make it, but now it's more expensive, and I haven't changed the prices on my shop yet. So I have to really go back and review the profit that I'm making with Etsy. But that's one of the reasons why when this problem happens, or I'm not able to have enough funds to fulfill the orders, you know, as quickly as I wanted to, like, you know, turnaround time to be quicker and faster. Sometimes I have to wait until some extra funds post on my account, is because supplies have gone up in prices. It's just what has happened. So those were a few questions I had. I think this is a long video, but it's a little get to know me video, and I thank you very much for listening. I am going to be making more videos every week, and I am excited to maybe share another video of Q&A or get to know me. So thank you. I hope you like some of my work.